So let's begin. It's Friday, January 2nd. For many of you all, this is your first day back to work, and maybe it's not. I don't know, but um, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mixed multitude. And before I begin, I want to just ground ourselves in some gratitude. It's and just be thankful for all that we have, um, all that we are to be, all that we are becoming. Thank the divine source for giving us another day in our wonderful bodies with our wonderful families. So I'm just gonna offer this. It's not morning anymore, but it still works. Moda ani lefanecha ruach v'kayam shezarta bi nishmati b'chem bracha rabba emunateka. Thank you, divine source of all, for allowing us to be, allowing us to breathe, allowing us to be here today. And the last part, you, the divine source, are awesome. And yes, I took some liberties with that translation. All right. And also before I begin, just little reflection on this week's Torah portion by He. Um, it's the end of we're the beginning of 2026, and this week's Torah portion is the end of the book of Genesis. And I think there's some context there to focus on, that we just wrapped up a year and we are about to begin what I like to refer to as, I see the entire book of Exodus as liberation theology. Okay. Um. So I believe that the Jewish community right now um, is in a lot of pain. Uh, and that pain is also playing out in our own communities. It's playing out outwardly, and it's playing out in our own communities. And I think that for many of us, sadly, we might mark this time in history as like sort of the time before October 7th and the time after October 7th. So of course we're now post October 7th, 2023, um, because that created huge change in Jewish life. Um, so before I begin with this talk, I just want to also just offer a blessing over that and honoring our pain, which is, I'll just say, may the one who brings comfort and strength bless us with healing, body, mind, and spirit. Source of all, grant us resilience in times of struggle and peace in times of pain. Surround us with love and the courage to face each other. Within us the strength, may we find within us the strength to rebuild, the patience to heal, and the compassion to lift each other up. Blessed are you, or bless us with renewed hope. May our hearts be open to the blessings of community, kindness, and connection. And may we in turn bring healing and light to those around us. And may it be your will, the divine source of everything, that we all find wholeness and peace. So I want to begin with and acknowledge and be aware of my own location in this time frame. I live in the United States. I have no concept of what it's like to live in Israel post October 7th. I've not been to Israel since 2015. Uh, and I just want to be clear about that. So I am speaking from my own location uh, as a rabbi who lives in the United States, as a Black rabbi, female, queer. All of those things shape how I see the world. And it doesn't take away from anyone else's experience. Just it's how I see things, how I experience things. And I'm not an Israeli. Never made Aliyah, have no plans to make Aliyah. And for those who don't know, Aliyah means basically going up, becoming a citizen, state of Israel. I said going up because that's how the word is translated. It was used, like we use it also when you go up to the Torah for a blessing. You get an Aliyah, as they say. So, um, I made a post on Facebook about, comparisons to, um, the keffiyeh and, um, uh, KKK hood. And I've also heard references that also connected to a keffiyeh to a noose. And I'm not gonna reiterate those things, I'm not gonna get into that. We all have our own experience. My main point about that, what I will say, is that we need to use analogies that actually apply to us, and if you're not a Black person, if you don't track as a Black person, find analogies that work for you. If the keffiyeh causes fear, use an analogy from your own pain, your own social location in life, a pain that is in your bones, a pain that you understand, not someone else's borrowed pain or uh, someone else's perspective, or someone else's lived experience, or someone else's uh, trauma, or some other community's trauma. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. If you want to know what that was about, you can go visit my Facebook page, and you can also visit a more in-depth reply. A more in-depth uh, explanation for that on my Substack. Oh, hi, Daniel. Daniel writes, I was born and raised into a West Bank religious Zionist settlement for the first 22 years of life before beginning a decade-long journey of leaving, and look forward to learning from your experience. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate that. Okay. Um, so, so that, but what I do want to talk about is something that that came across my feed if I'm a person, and I've heard this before. This isn't new, and this concept of Erev Rav. So Erev Rav, if you go to Exodus, go to Parshat Bo, the Erev Rav is translated as the mixed multitude. So the mixed multitude is considered when the Israelites and others left Mitzrayim, left Egypt with Moshe Rabbeinu, with Moses. The Torah says they left as a mixed multitude. Or a mixed multitude left and wait, yeah, mixed multitude left with them. And there's a whole uh commentary about that. There's so much that's happening in that text. I have written about it a lot. It's one take on that appears in the CCAR's, that's the Reform Movements Rabbinical Association uh Torah commentary, social justice Torah commentary, and I wrote a lot about that. But I don't know how long this talk is going to be, and I'm just talking. So I will save it, and if you have to go, please do, and you can catch this later. But thank you all for listening to my clumsy TED talk. All right, so um, the rabbis in the Talmud do not like the Erev Rav. They speak incredibly negatively of the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude. And basically, in the Talmud, everything that bad that happens to the Israelites on their journey towards the promised land is blamed on the Erev Rav. Now that's shorthand. That's very short, condensed understanding of what's happening in the Talmud. There's more expansiveness. And go get a Torah, go get a Havruta, and look at this, a study buddy, and look at this for more in-depth explanation of what's happening. But in modern times, modern rabbis don't necessarily view the Erev Rav as bad. So when I hear people say negative things about the Erev Rav, I find that very, very troubling. And I say that because when the Torah says that an Erev Rav left, and then a few more pages down the road, we all left, the Israelites and the Erev Rav and all those people left Mitzrayim. They leave they're not Jews yet, and the rabbis basically believe that once they get to Mount Sinai and they receive revelation, they receive the Torah and all and the Torah and the oral Torah, which is the comes to Talmud, then we become a people. We become Jews. So my take is regardless of how someone views the Erev Rav or what they think about the Erev Rav, all of those people that made it to Mount Sinai are Jews, and their descendants are Jews. In fact, there's a wonderful, beautiful um, story about how we were all present at Sinai. We're all Jews were present at Sinai. So I don't understand the need to in this modern age to use that to use the Erev Rav in a negative kind of way because regardless, we're Jews. We're all Jews, and so um, and the other thing I want to say in that same online commentary, that this person said like Erev Rav and self-hating Jew. And I also think that self-hating Jew becomes shorthand for I don't agree with you. Or you're not one of us, which is actually kind of the language they use. And it's not the first time I've heard this before. And that's really sad because we're all Jews. We're all um, uh, we all have our own different experiences. We all have our way of looking at things. And so to say that someone's an Erev Rav and at the same time say that they're self-hating Jew is is kind of sad in that today. And it doesn't recognize that Jews are all over the world. We're all having our own experience. So my experience is going to be different than yours. That's just how things are. And to say that just because someone observes a certain way, or just because someone lives in Israel, or just because someone has these beliefs, different beliefs, or whatever, it doesn't take away someone's Jewishness. And I think that is that I don't have a way to describe it except that it's really sad um, that we are still some people find the need to say us versus them instead of just saying we're all one community with a bunch of different opinions. In fact, the Talmudic idea um, around disagreement, you all may have heard the idea of argument for the sake of heaven. So that we should be free as a community to disagree. And along with that, um, there's a phrase, not a phrase, there's a that Talmudic understanding that we need to give people the benefit of the doubt. Dam l'chaf zechut, I believe that is the phrase. Um, and when we give people, we need to remember that regardless of now, I'm not talking about when people try to hurt someone's humanity. We don't need to we don't need to necessarily give those people the benefit of the doubt. So if somebody's trying to take away from my humanity, I don't need to engage with you. But or and but if we are having a disagreement about things in the Jewish community, um, I need to give you the benefit of the doubt that you are coming from a place of love, um, for the Jewish people, and I don't need to attack you for it, and I shouldn't be attacked for it. Um, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. Um, that's pretty much what I came here to say, and, yeah, okay. That's why I don't do lives that often because I don't really have a good script for it, but, um, anyway, I hope you all are having a wonderful start of the new year. While I have your attention, if you have any questions, please fire off, let me know. Ooh, somebody just wrote an essay. I actually wrote some notes on this that I'm trying to find and to make sure I got all my own points in. All right, what does somebody say? Hi, Daniel. Hi again. I don't see the Erev Rav as other people. I see it as part of you. It's what emerges when liberation begins. Amen. The parts of us that awaken to truth yet still carry the trauma, conditioning, and imprints of slave consciousness. It just faded. There we go. Freedom starts internally, but the deeper work is noticing and unwinding the habits and reactions that still treat freedom as dangerous even after awakening. Oh, thank you for that. The reason I was reading it so slow because at the bottom of the screen, it's really tiny. Yeah, I love that. Let me borrow it. I don't know. Does anybody know how to save the chat from here? But thank you for that. Um, and back to what I was talking about earlier. If you want to know more about my comparison to the uh Kafira and the KKK hood, you can read that on my Substack or go to my Facebook page to see the two posts. Um, so, okay. Well, thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward. Oh, I found my notes. Yeah, I think I did cover all that. Um, and also, all of this to say that I also don't believe that social media like Facebook and all those siblings are good places for arguing. I think that if you want to really have a discussion with folks, it's better to pick up the phone or ask for offline chat. Um, anyway, y'all have an amazing day. Happy New Year. Oh wait, is there more? Did I miss something? Oh, full frontal lobe. Hi. I wish there was a way to read this in a better way because it's so um anyway, I can share with you in a message. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. Full frontal lobe. Hello, this is Michael. Hi, Michael. What do you think? What do you think accountability will look like for the misleadership of rabbis and heads of large Jewish community organizations, specifically with respect to Zionism? I don't really understand the question. Can you be a little bit more specific? Um, what do you mean by accountability? I don't understand. Misleadership? Say more. Yeah. Michael says he's working on it. Take your time, brother. Okay, so Michael wrote, um, I think in relatively short order, we will come to understand that any level of support for the state of Israel is immoral. I don't know. I think that I think some people would say that loving a country is, people love the United States, but people hate the government. So, many people love the state of Israel, but hate the government. There's lots of nuance and lots of complexities, and I don't personally think it's we're going to, yeah, I don't know, who knows? Um, History will tell. History is continues to make mistakes. People make mistakes. Um, yeah, I'm not an expert, and I don't do hard lines. I guess that might be a great way of saying it. Um, yeah. Doing so as a Jewish leader will create specific issues. What do we do with those leaders? I still don't understand you. I think we're just coming from 2 different places, and I'm not trying to be funny. I don't understand. Um, and maybe because I'm a rabbi, and I don't do I'm not good with language to me that sounds like us versus them. Who's a leader? I mean, are you talking about rabbis? Are you talking about people who run Jewish institutions? I do think that individuals are doing the best that they can, and I also think that October 7th caught many people off guard, and people were making decisions quickly, whether we agree with them or not. People were doing the best they could to keep their communities together, to keep the donors together, to keep all the constituents together, and I'm sure, yeah, people, like, made a lot of mistakes. Um, and I guess we'll find out. But let's all stay engaged, and, Michael, if you wanna write more, let me know. If you wanna write more about that, uh that's fine, and we could talk about it. If for things like that, I'd rather have a conversation, not, go back and forth through texting and emails because I find that very not very effective. Anywho, I'm gonna try to do more lives, and, because I do like this platform. I like it better than Meta, although I still use Meta and all the others. But anyway, Shabbat shalom, y'all have a great start of the new year and have a great Friday. Peace be with you. All right. Bye.